Hello, algebra students. Today you are going to learn the form of an equation called point-slope form. So far we've learned slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, and standard form, ax plus by equals c. Today we're going to learn a form, point-slope form, where we have y minus a y point equals m. M still stands for slope, and then x minus an x point. Y and x are the variables. They're going to stay just like normal linear equations. We have an x-axis and a y-axis. So we are plugging in a slope and a point. So in these two examples here, y minus 5, that means 5 is y1, 2 is m, and 1 is x1. So this equation comes from a line with a slope of 2 that passes through the point 1, 5. In this next equation, I have y1 as negative 7 and x1 as negative 3. Because in our form, notice that there is a minus. When you minus a negative, you add. So this comes from the point negative 3, negative 7. M is our slope. 2. So first we're just going to practice writing an equation given a point and a slope. So I'm going to write that form again. Y minus the y point equals m, the slope, times x minus the x point. And then we're just going to plug in the given point and slope. So this point, negative 8 comma 3, this is x1 comma y1. So I'm going to sub in 3, I'm going to substitute 3 for y1. So I have y minus 3 equals 1/4 is our slope, which we know is m, so 1/4 times x minus the x point, which is negative 8, so I'm going to make that a plus 8. All right, that's an equation in point-slope form of a line that passes through the point negative 8 comma 3 and has a slope of 1/4. Next, we're going to practice writing an equation in point slope from a graph. This is actually what your IXL is going to be practicing today. When I'm writing an equation in point slope form, I can choose either of these points to use. I'm going to choose 1, 2. Smaller numbers should make this easier. So I have y minus the y point equals, we still need to find our slope, but we remember how to find slope from a graph. I'm going to count how much it goes down, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then how much it goes over, 1, 2. So our slope is negative 4 over 2, which simplifies to negative 2. So back to my point slope equation, m is negative 2, x minus the x point. Okay, from here, notice that the directions say slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. From point-slope form, to convert it to slope-intercept, I'm going to do two things. Step 1 is I'm going to distribute the slope. Distribute m. Step 2 is I'll add the y point. So to get it into slope-intercept form, I need to get y by itself. I'm going to come up to this equation, distribute m. So we'll copy this side. I have negative 2x, negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2. And then we add y1. So I have y equals negative 2x plus 4. That's an equation in slope-intercept form from that graph. We started in point slope and then we converted it to slope-intercept. I would also write the steps at the bottom in your notes. All right, next we're going to practice writing an equation in point-slope form from 2 points. Remember function notation when it says f of 4 equals negative 2. That means when x is 4, y is negative 2. So I have an ordered pair at 4, negative 2. And if f of 8 equals 4, that means when x is 8, y is 4. So I have a point at 8, 4. All right, let's find our slope first. Slope is change in y over change in x. So I'm going to do negative 2 minus 4 over 4 minus 8. Negative 6 over negative 4 simplifies to 3/2. Okay, so again, my form is y minus the y point equals m times x minus the x point. Now I'm just plugging in information. I'm going to use the first point, so y minus negative 2 is plus 2. Plug in 3/2 for my slope, x minus 4. That's our equation in point-slope form. We could practice converting this to slope-intercept again, where we would distribute 3/2 and then subtract 2. But it just says linear function, so this is sufficient for now. All right, the word problem for today says the student council is ordering customized foam hands to promote school spirit. The table shows the cost of ordering different numbers of foam hands. Can the situation be modeled by a linear equation? If possible, write an equation. So let's see if it's linear. Remember to check if it's linear. I'm checking what it's adding. I'm checking for a constant rate of change. Here, x adds 2 every step. And then this, let's see, 34 to 46 adds 12, adds 12, adds 12. So there is a constant rate of change, and actually using these, oh, this is x and this is y. Using these, we can find slope. We know slope is change in y, 12 over change in x, 2, which is 6. And then I'm going to go back to my point slope form. So I have y minus the y point equals the slope times x minus the x point. And I'm going to pick any of these points to plug in. Let's just do the first one for 34. So I have y minus 34 equals 6 times x minus 4. All right, I want you to pause the video, see if you can do this by yourself, and then play it back, see if you got it right. We'll talk about the summary, and then your job today is to get a SMART score of 80 on the linked IXL in Canvas. All right, so I've written point slope form. Your job was simply to plug in the slope and the point. So I have y minus 4 equals 2, x plus 1. Again, minus a negative is a plus. All right, so today we learned point slope form. Point slope form is y minus the y point equals the slope times x minus the x point. This can be converted to slope intercept by distributing m and adding y1. The purpose of point slope form, I haven't really talked about yet in the notes, sorry. It is when you have a graph but you don't have the y-intercept. So when we graphed slope intercept, it always gave us the intercept. Sometimes you're going to get a graph or 2 points and you're going to have to find the intercept. That is when you would use point slope. All right, last but not least, I'm going to show you how to do the IXL today. One place where students get confused in this IXL is they don't know where to get the points from. So it should give you 1 point. You can pick any other point. A point is wherever it crosses through the corner of a graph. So in this problem, it looks like there's a point right here. This is at 700, what's the x-axis? 500. On this side, this is at 600, 200. So you can still find slope by finding change in y over change in x. It goes up 1, 2, 3, which is actually 300. And then it goes over 1, or 100. 300 over 100 is just 3. So our equation of the line, we're going to plug in any y point. Actually, no, it looks like it wants you to use this one. So we're going to plug in this. I would say y minus 200 equals 3, x minus 600. That's it. That should get you this question right. Once you get to 80, you are done. Make sure you go through Canvas so it submits your score.